This is Hockey Prospect Radio on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, partnered with ECAC Hockey, the leaders in hockey on and off the ice. Learn more at ecachockey.com. Happy to bring on once again Ben Syer, the head coach for Princeton University for the men's team. Ben, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Shane. It's great to be here.
So, I know that the Ivies are kind of slackers. So you start your season late comparative to everybody else. So not sure anybody who's been at Ivy League school been called a slacker. So we've been patiently waiting for you guys to play some games. You got a couple under your belt. And I know the coaching staff always, you come in with intention of building a strategy based on the players that you have and working towards this common goal, and then you start playing the games and then chaos ensues, and then you're just working on that with your players. How was that through the first couple of games? How was that sort of transpired, and what are your thoughts just getting right out of the gate?
Yeah, it's certainly nice to play games. As you said, we're always a little bit behind everybody else, and so you're practicing hard, but it's much different when you're practicing against each other versus playing somebody else, and so you learn a lot more. And I think some of the things that you thought you had a good handle on, you realize that hey, we got to spend some more time on it. And then there's some other areas too where you're like, okay, we do have a little bit of a grasp on that here, and so it's certainly a bit of an eye opener. And like you said, your kind of your plan certainly alters after the opening weekend. And spent this morning already, trying to tweak that here as we move along to this weekend.
Were were your thoughts on the freshmen? I'm always interested in freshmen early and how it's that a bit of a big bucket of cold water of what college hockey really is like, and then that transition for them, and then how your leadership group is supporting those young players. Because just like anytime you move up a rung, it's you think you know what it's all about, and then you get into the thick of the action and you realize how fast and the pace of this game really is.
Yeah, I mean, I like how our guys have adjusted here in terms of that, in terms of our freshmen and where our guys are going. But you're 100% right. Is I think for a couple of them, I mean for all of them, but is there certainly a different level of intensity that is required of them from not just your Friday and Saturdays, but your Monday through Thursdays and what that looks like. And I think that's always an eye opener how important, a Monday and multiple Mondays can really affect a performance on a Friday or Saturday a couple months later. So I think that's something that we're still working through and getting that point with all our young guys. But in terms of like our leadership group and our older guys being able to work with our younger guys, I think they've done a really nice job over the last couple months to really kind of indoctrinate them to the standard and what is expected of them day in and day out to make those improvements.
I'd like to ask you about, I know it's only a couple of games, but your goaltending for through your first two games with Arthur Smith. I mean, a great goaltender makes a coach look like a genius. And through the first couple of games, I think he's giving you guys the opportunity to win. How does that help stabilize not just your defense core, but particularly for your younger guys? Because there's a little bit of breathing room when you got confidence your goaltender is going to make a big save, even though you don't intentionally want to make a mistake. But if it happens, I think particularly for the defensemen and the young guys, that you got a guy back there just, yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, and we did. We put him on the spot a couple times, and I thought he did a really nice job of settling it down. And to your point is you can feel the confidence when the guys come back to the bench. When Artie's made a nice play and made a big save, or better yet, just one that he's supposed to make and is really consistent with it.
Talk about your leading scorer right now in Jackson Esmond, like 5 points in two games. That's pretty sweet. But of course, you have a lot of supporting cast around him. How does that play into your guys' strategy when you have somebody or a couple players who really just jump out of the gate quickly?
Yeah, I think it's really nice to see as get the start that he has. I think he's one of those guys that has been probably one of the more honest and consistent performers in camp over the last month and a half. And he goes about his business the right way. And obviously he's playing with two guys right now, and Brendan Gorman that has a track record of pointing, but then also Julian Facinelli, who didn't play a ton last year due to injury, and they've had a nice or been a nice trio here in the first three games. I include the exhibition game in that, just being able to kind of come together here a little bit.
You talked about consistency, particularly with Esmond. Is that something that you can point to? You never want to single out just one player, but when you talk about preparing going into the season, then that Monday through Thursday is that compounding effect of consistency of just doing the right thing every day. And you may not see the gains right away, but they start to compound over time.
Yeah, I think Ez is a prime example of that. He never really gets too high, never gets too low. He's a man of few words, but he just cares about the improvement of his team, and he's all in for the guys, and that comes out in every conversation that you have with him, every meeting that you have. And so when he's getting on the ice on Monday, you know that you're going to get the same level of commitment that you're going to get on a Friday or Saturday. And to your point, it definitely helps out. You put a couple of those weeks together of consistency. You're certainly going to see some rewards come game time, and I think that's what you're seeing for him is certainly early on.
After watching some film of your team, one of the things that jumped out to me, and I know this is boring stat for some people, but I really like it, is particularly the plus minus. Understanding what a player does off the puck to me is really important. Particularly, it's 5 on 5, and I think sometimes we forget that even if you're a star player, you might not only have the puck in your stick for 5% of your ice time. What are you doing off the puck to help your team win? The majority of your team, they're all pluses, plus threes, plus fours. How satisfying is that as a coaching staff to see the 5 on 5 play be really solid in the first two games?
Yeah, well, I love your term boring because I think it's one of those things that doesn't get rewarded, but that boring or that consistency, creates reliability. And so when you ask about the plus minus, it's certainly something that as a group we strive to be on the plus side of that for our group. But you're right. It shows that you're contributing to the group of five or six that are on the ice at all times, and it's not just being rewarded for your offensive play, but the entire efforts on both ends of the ice defensively and also offensively. So it's certainly pleased with it so far.
It's the thing I bring up when I'm coaching the younger kids is you could have 2 goals in a game, but if you're a -4, you didn't have a good game. And they look at you like wide-eyed, like crazy. But I scored 2 goals, but you like four extra goals against you when you're on the ice. That's not helping your team win, right? So it seems that it never ends, that conversation, even from like kids that are 11 and 12 years old all the way up till they're in university.
Yeah. Well, I think it even goes into pro hockey. I mean, I remember watching an interview with Mike Babcock once and talking about one of his players, young guys coming in as a rookie, and he would talk about, hey, we just need you to be reliable, and we need you to be able to be able to play a certain number of minutes for us, to eat minutes here for us, and be consistent. And so that when you go over the boards, that your teammates and our staff know that you can be consistent. And I think that's exactly what you're referencing here right now, is to be able consistent, because you can't guarantee whether you're going to point or score on every shift, but you can control, what you can control, and have a consistency and a reliability to your game. That is controllable.
Ben, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Hey, thanks so much, Shane. Really appreciate you having me.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this.